Nonetheless, Geno talked about Caitlin Clark again and sort of gave some backhanded compliments. Like he talked about how she connects to the audience, which was good. He talked about how she's tough, like Paige Beckers. He threw Paige in there as well.
The Geno Auriemma's biggest coach goes crazy after. He was rejected by Caitlin Clark, and it costs him millions that he previously disregarded Caitlin Clark, asserting that she lacked the appropriate skill set for the WNBA today. As she transforms Iowa into an empire of basketball, Geno is left questioning how he simply lost out on a player opportunity to participate in history, and that's no award can cure a hurt.
Talks a lot of shit on the court, all right? Believe me. You know, when people talk about in WNBA, why are these people beating up Caitlin Clark? Because she talks a lot of shit on the court.
Geno doubled back on a podcast, undercutting Clark with cheap jabs and offering her a few hollow compliments instead of facing up to his mistakes. This egotistical action serves as a reminder that even legends can falter.
Going out of his way to, first he's like saying she connects to people, and he could have left it at that, I guess. But he almost goes on to put the, reverse some of that discourse, try to put it in others' laps because of Caitlin Clark's trash talk.
The worst part is that, without UConn's or Geno's consent, Clark is living rent-free in Geno's head and changing history. Not only did Geno lose a player, but he also lost millions of dollars in revenue, respect, and reputation.
This kid, she's fearless. She just plays. She just is like a little kid in a driveway playing with her friends. So, yeah, she's unique in that way. But in terms of what she's doing, people have short memories. Yeah, I've seen it before.
Auriemma continued by discussing what makes Clark so unique in the current basketball scene, her fearlessness. He clarified that many players in this day and age pause because they are concerned about the repercussions of a missed shot or a poor choice. Blame games, social media scrutiny, and while Auri praised her distinct thinking and apparent skill, he also highlighted the criticism that has made many athletes cautious and reluctant to take chances that could cost their team or damage their reputation. People's memories are brief. He stated in a knowing tone that he was going to declare Clark the greatest player of all time because he had already seen brilliance, frequently from the best seat in the house, the sidelines of his own team.
It was the beginning of the conversation.
The women's game. So if I think sometimes people get confused over the last 18 months, maybe over 2 years, that they think it was a rocket, that you all jumped on Caitlin Clark's back and went straight up. But you've been there at the beginning of the ride, so to speak.
Geno couldn't help but bring up Paige Buers as well. According to Geno, Clark and Buers have similar levels of toughness, so let's not forget my star player when we discuss the person who didn't pick me, subtle as a neon sign. Underestimating Clark's worth was Geno's worst error. Clark, on the other hand, is a different breed. Auriemma highlighted that she is fearless and compares her style to a child shooting hoops in the driveway just for the love of the game. She doesn't overthink things or allow fear of failing to seep into plays that Auriemma believes are becoming less common in contemporary basketball.
And we send them up to the WNBA, and then they have something good to work with, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So it still comes back to those of us that are in charge of the game. Are we making the game better every day? Are we making our players better every day?
Finally, Geno minimized Clark's contribution to the sports. Growth assured, he nodded to her influence, but presented it as a component of a greater, unavoidable evolution because God forbid he acknowledged that Clark's ascent is the cause of women's basketball becoming erupting at the moment. When questioned about Caitlin Clark's astounding Geno Auriemma's performances, inquiry with a mixture of respect and indeed, she's doing amazing things, he acknowledged, but let's not overlook I had already witnessed such brilliance. Auriemma alluded to a personal experience. Using coaching history to illustrate his thesis, he described being in charge of a group that included 2 rookies and 2 athletes who had never begun a game prior to that. Squadded simply compete. They won a national championship. It wasn't a one-player show, but each player's talents and poise were revolutionary in their own right.
Geno Auriemma could be the reason why Caitlin Clark is definitely not joining the unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league. We finna unpack it all right here.
Oh, Geno Auriemma, master coach, part-time businessman, and full-time expert at putting his foot in his mouth. It turns out that Caitlin Clark wants nothing to do with his new, unmatched 3-on-3 basketball league, and Geno may be solely to blame. Let's keep in mind that this league was supposed to be a groundbreaking venture with big investors, big ambitions, and an even bigger January launch. Everyone was talking about it primarily because fans wanted to see Caitlin Clark, the college sensation, but Clark isn't interested, leaving Geno and the league scrambling for star power.
Chill, man. But that is not the case. Many people want Caitlin Clark to join this league to possibly, play basketball, be more entertainment for her. But now many Caitlin Clark fans took to Twitter to actually poke fun at Geno Auriemma. Let's pull up some of the...
Now, why would Clark decline such a wonderful opportunity? Chance, let's go back to Geno's The Dan Patrick's Best PR Moment show. Auriemma, in all his knowledge named for daring, Clark's fan group is insane. To imply that she could control the WNBA, he reiterated that she didn't the physicality necessary to succeed in the league. If that wasn't sufficient, he added some jokes about how foolish these supporters were. For promoting her as Diana's successor, Geno's Terracide Genius plan insults the largest attraction in women's basketball and her diehard fans.
You should just buy a rival league. Exactly. Kayla getting that type of bag. Sissy probably isn't this vindictive, but if it was me, if they wanted me outside, I'll demand a full retraction and apology from Geno for his comments on the Dan Patrick show.
Sarcasm and mockery are rampant on Twitter. One fan commented, "Why would Caitlin play for someone who doesn't think she can handle contact?" Another said, "She should just buy the league and rename it Unrivaled Genius." Ouch. It doesn't help that Geno isn't just a distant consultant in this league, he's a part owner, and his involvement is now seen as a huge red flag. In addition to saving her knees, Clark's decision to stay out of this league is a direct response to Geno's remarks. She doesn't require his league, and she certainly doesn't need to deal with the negative effects of partnering with someone who minimized her abilities on a national scale. In the meantime, the league is preparing for a spectacular debut in January, but without Clark, it appears to be more of a failure. For a man who is so proud of his decades-long career, it's amazing how quickly he managed to destroy his own credibility with just a few offensive remarks. Remember when Geno took the stage on the Dan? Geno probably thought he was untouchable, but now his words are coming back to haunt him in the form of empty seats and dwindling buzz. Patrick's show went full scorched earth on Clark's fan base, calling them foolish and naive for even considering the possibility that she may be a dominant player in the WNBA. He didn't stop there. Because insulting the most marketable player in women's basketball is a smart business move, Geno made the decision to add some expert analysis, suggesting that Clark didn't have the build for the league and would struggle with its physical demands.
Caitlin has better things to do. Why does he want a player he doesn't think has the physicality?
To make matters worse, Geno added, his own words are being thrown back at him. In the meantime, the Unrivaled League is scheduled to launch in January, and without Clark, it's looking more like unremarkable. Sure, they have some big names, like Angel Ree, but Paige Buers, another rising star, would face similar challenges in the WNBA. She noted that her game might translate better less Caitlin more Suba, but let's be honest, this isn't about skill sets or physicality. It's about Geno shooting himself in the foot twice and wondering why no one wants to play with him. Let's not act as though she can fulfill what the league's supporters desire on her alone. Caitlin investors wanted without Caitlin, the league's future appears to be as solid as a house of cards in a storm.
And you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA.
Geno Auriemma hasn't been enjoying himself lately. The golden child of college basketball, Caitlin Clark, seems to have rejected his vision or his entire league, depending on who you ask. Geno's frustration isn't just about basketball, it's also about the millions of dollars he could have made if Clark had lived up to the ridiculous hype surrounding her. Before she even dribbled on a pro court, fans declared her the league's savior, and they had MVP odds. Naturally, Geno viewed this as a fantastic chance to provide the league with a fresh face, infinite endorsements, and let's be honest, enormous boost to his own brand. But the actual world had other ideas.
Do you think Clark is handling this?
I think she's handling great. I think she talks a lot of and she gets a lot of back. So she deserves everything she gets because she gives it as good as she gets.
It is now. Geno claims that the WNBA players are targeting Clark not only on the court but also emotionally due to the disrespect they felt upon hearing her dominate them on the first day. And let's not forget the whole not built for this thing. Geno is out here venting about delusional fans hyping Clark to impossible levels. In the meantime, Gu is witnessing the millions associated with Clark's rookie season disappear more quickly than her defenders can double-team her. Geno claims that Clark isn't fast enough or tough enough to face WNBA physicality, which seems like a polite way of saying she's making me look terrible. Instead of being celebrated, the branding, partnerships, and legacy building are all disappearing. Her as Diana Taurasi's successor. When Paige Beckers announced she was staying in college, Geno couldn't contain his mixture of pride and panic. Sure, he'll have her at UConn for another year, but he knows she'll face the same brutal reality when she finally enters the league, which could be another blow to his bank account. The cherry on top was some genius named Clark the White Larry Bird, and Geno couldn't roll his eyes hard enough. He called out society's obsession with cheap comparisons, but he didn't seem too upset when those comparisons